How's everyone doing on this Friday? Yo, I'm fucking hyped for this call, guys. I'm at the nerves are running. Really hyped for this call. This is fuck. I can't even let's go, bro. I'm fucking hyped. I'm hyped for all of you to get some fucking sauce, but honestly, man, this is fucking full
Julian.
circle, bro. So, as you guys all know, we have a special guest speaker today. Um, obviously everyone's here. We got Jason in the call, Jason Riptide, and basically before I bring this guy up, just to quick introduce. So I joined Anthony Eclipse's mentorship in around April of this year. And Jason was one of the coaches, one of the mentors there. And, when I first started out, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing, but Jason wasn't even like the head guy, but he was hosting calls. And like for people that were in there, you can even ask him, like majority of the calls would wait, what? Wait, cam's not working. Guys, let's not fuck around for this call, please. Are you serious? You're being dead ass. You're being dead what the fuck? Hold bro. Hello? Hello? Come on, guys. Let's okay, it's working. Right? It's Bro, what do you mean? Okay, it's not my fault your Wi-Fi is shit. Bro, what's happening? Okay, wait, hold the fucking phone.
Yeah, it's
Fucking hold on, bro. Yo, okay, wait. Ah, man. All right, guys. This should you guys should be able to see me. Okay. Okay, so let me get straight into it. So I joined not knowing shit. I was a newbie at this ecom space, and Jason was hosting like Q&A calls, and I can't explain to you guys enough the way he just explained everything, like the way he answered questions, the way he explained everything, it was so clear to me, and like he really helped me out a lot on my journey. And to have him here as a guest for all of you guys, and it's just a full circle. I'm really glad we kept in touch, and yeah, he's been a G since day one. He's been so fucking generous to not just me, but to everybody in the community. And bro, there's nothing else to be said. Literally, the goat. The guy's done over 1 million in sales on ecom. He's like the silent killer. Like this guy, he's not loud. He doesn't have any presence. He, we'll talk about that later. Um, but basically, like he's just a silent killer, and I'm really happy to give him the stage today because he's helped me out a lot and absolute G. So if Jason's here, I know he seems to be here. Um, yeah, Jason is here. Request to speak. Let's go. Let's go.
yo yo.
What's good, bro?
What's
What's
good,
good?
brother? Thank you for the warm introduction. I'm happy to be here. I see a few familiar faces, but I'm really happy to see everybody else here too. I appreciate everybody showing up. Somebody wants me to show my
Yeah,
face.
bro. Yeah, it's fine. It's up to you. But honestly, yeah, bro. How's ecom been going for you?
Yes, we've been chilling, bro. I've like like you said, we'll get into it later, but I started a little YouTube channel, and after my last winter, which we'll probably also talk about, I had a winter a few months ago that I ran up to like 300 or 350K and kind of came crashing down because of some problems on the back end. And so I kind of decided after that I was going to start a little YouTube channel and try and document my road to a million on just one single brand. So it's kind of where I'm at now. We're getting that started, and hopefully 2025 will be a banger.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I strongly suggested for you to like create a YouTube channel because like again, just I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just the way you explain your info is just so clear. I don't know, I can't explain it. I've hopped on calls before with other people and it was just like, bro, when you explain it, it's like I get it instantly. And that was
Oh
something that
man.
really helped me out a lot at
Well, I
the
appreciate
beginning.
the
Yeah.
gas, and hopefully, we'll. I think we said we'll go for about an hour and see how things are going, and we may even go for an extra 30 minutes or so. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. Hopefully, give you guys a little sauce. It's like a little Christmas present, I think, like you said in your announcement,
Mm,
a little gift from us. So yeah, let's
yes,
just
sir.
see what happens.
All right. So I'll start off with a few questions, but you guys obviously any questions you guys have, put them in the chat and we'll go over them. But I'll start off because I did come prepared.
Let's go.
Um, and I think a lot of people, like even me including, the hardest part is obviously like s- making that commitment to like test this product. A lot of people like hesitate. So
Hmm.
you've got a few winners in your experience and in the past. And what would you say is kind of like the three components that all of your previous winning products like kind of shared?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this recently too. There's one main thing actually. I felt like I might bring it up at some point in this call, but something really interesting that I found with my last winner was specifically when I was looking in the comments, um, and just like reading customers' comments, of course, before things kind of went downhill. But as far as like the marketing aspect, I would look at these comments and I would see like three words that really popped out to me. A lot of people saying the same three words, and those three words were
Hmm.
just three simple words, just I need this. And so what I kind of realized when I started seeing those three words is like really the most important thing when it comes, at least when it comes to marketing, is being able to convey that message and be able to get someone to feel that way, that I need this type of way. And really, there's a lot that plays into that. It's kind of plays off maybe insecurities or conditions they might have, and just really being able to communicate that whatever product you're selling to whatever market or customer you're selling to, that you're um, messaging them in a way that really resonates with them and gets them almost a bit impulsive to go straight to your website, not even think about the price, and just buy whatever you're selling.
Yeah. No, that's actually so true. Even my last winner, it was all the comments of I need this, I need this. It kind of basically like
Hmm.
like not guarantees you, but it's like you can clearly see demand without even testing it. And it's not even your video. Let's say it's an organic video from someone else. Like you did nothing, but just because you clicked on the comments, you can already guarantee like some type of demand for it, which
Right.
is
And so, like,
yeah, I realize,
yeah,
yeah.
so what I've really noticed is that, um, I mean, I don't want to break it down and try and make it sound too simple, but like a lot of success in ecom comes down to breaking down, like, okay, how do I make somebody feel that I need this type of feeling? And I think that's kind of where everything is rooted in as far as ecom. And so
Yeah.
some of that comes from research, and well, I'll let you get back to your questions, and I'm sure we'll come back to it, but
Yeah. Um, Another one that I have would be let's say when you find like a winning product
mhm.
and you're like around the 500 in sales a day,
Yeah.
kind of what's your structure on what or like what's the first few things that you start implementing to like start scaling at least to
Hmm.
like 10K days?
Got you. Yeah, so the first thing that I really like to do is start dialing in a video structure. So basically what I mean by that is you're gonna if you're making 500 in sales per day or roughly that amount, then you have something that seems to be working a little bit. Obviously, everything can always be improved on, but at that point, you have something that's working, and you kind of need to like consciously be aware of that in a way. So you need to look at your all your videos and kind of figure out, okay, like what are people liking about these videos, and what structure is working in these videos, what angle is working in these videos, and how can I continue to replicate that, um, and either make it better or just continue to replicate it and scale it. So, what like usually what I would do is really look deep into my videos, start comparing them all to each other, maybe look at like hook rates, hold rates, just certain video metrics, and try and understand exactly what the reason is why people are interested in that specific creative or creatives, however many you have that are pumping, and
Hmm.
just try and extract all that data from the video. Like take as much out of it as you can, write it down, and just like it'll help you really understand exactly what the reason why things are working is. And like from that, you can start implementing that into other videos. Maybe you start structuring your hooks a certain way, structuring your videos a certain way. Whatever you find that is the reason why things are starting to become successful, and then from there, like it's always good to also continue doing more research on the market. Like for example, my last winning product, I had a video structure that started to work, but like just because it started to work didn't mean that I just left it at that. Like I continued doing more research, specifically like on Reddit. I think is a really good place to be doing research, finding even more reasons why
Hmm.
somebody might want the product, or maybe they've tried something in the past that didn't work, or maybe they have a specific problem that makes them really insecure, and just really start to implement all that into the video, um, in the way that you just found communicates the best to the customer. So as far as like marketing, that's kind of where I start, extracting all that data and making sure that there's like a structure or a plan around like my content creation. So part of it is just
Yeah.
that fundamental research, and then part of it is also being able to pump out enough volume to essentially be testing enough videos to where you can continue getting more winners starting to roll in, and just like continue scaling up on the front end. It takes a big volume of content creation. I think a lot of people maybe misunderstand that sometimes when you talk about being able to pump out crazy amounts of volume. Like when I'm scaling, I'll be testing minimum 5 ads per day. Sometimes I'll be testing 10 ads per day. So just to put that into perspective about almost what's necessary to be scaling, at least on the front end, as far as marketing goes, you need a lot of value, and you always need to be trying to find that perfect way to communicate to your customer. And I know 10 ads a day, it sounds a
Yeah.
little bit crazy, but I promise, like once you get in the mix of it, it doesn't have to be like tons of different things. You can maybe switch up the hook and use the same body for 3 different creatives or something like that. But you just want to be
Yeah, that's
testing. Go for it. You're good.
no, 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 I just want to say because I feel like what a lot of people I feel like get confused is when people say like test 10
Hmm.
ads a day, but it's not 10 completely brand new ads that took you like an hour to make. Like it's a lot of variations
Right.
and yeah, you can continue, but that's something like I did when I was scaling.
Hmm.
It was just I had one video that like my winning ad, and I not joking, probably had 50 plus variations of it, but they were
Yeah,
all like new ads
for
that
sure.
helped scale as well.
Of course. And then yeah, like most of it, and really once you get the hang of the editing on CapCut or whatever you guys use, it's pretty simple. Honestly, the biggest thing that takes the biggest amount of time is just doing the research prior and like extracting all the data from the ads that are currently performing. That's like such a big part that doesn't get talked about in ecom, is doing proper research prior to making these videos. Because what a lot of people do, I think there's like this misconception that like if you're going to be editing, then automatically your video is better than the non-edited videos. But really it doesn't always work like that, because when you're editing, you have to know, like you have to be sure that what you're putting in the video or the way you're editing it is the right way, or at least what you think is going to be the right way to communicate to the customer.
Yeah, 100%. And I what I because this was the reason I remember. So when I scaled my first winner, I'm pretty sure you remember as well. I was the Zodiac bracelet.
Hmm.
Remember when I
Yes,
first
sir.
started in Anthony's thing.
Of course.
The mistake, the mistake that I did there was when I found the winner like that, I kind of just scaled and not know what worked, and
Hmm.
just like bump budgets. Did nothing. I didn't create any new ads, nothing. I kind of just kicked up my feet in the air, and it died quick. So I've learned that like when you have like a winning system or like a winning formula, like you were saying, to understand why it's working, to like kind of study it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it allows you to test a lot of different things. Was it the hook? Was it the target audience? Was it the music? Whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to allow you to create so many different variations later on down the line when you're scaling. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't like analyze why. And I've realized even if this product dies, you kind of have like a winning formula. So like
Mm-hmm.
for an example, I don't want to like expose anybody, but I do you know Paul Han?
Yeah, yeah. I just watched his video like the other day.
Yeah, so basically I'm not gonna expose anything, but like he had a winning formula, like a winning store, but it died because of like quality issues.
Mm-hmm.
But then his next store that he's currently working on now is it's like the same product, just a bit
Uh-huh.
better.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like he took the same winning formula and just did it better in a new store.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's why I strongly emphasize when something works for you to analyze why and keep that formula because that
Right.
formula could be transferable to other stores and you can keep scaling and just keep making money basically.
100%. And that's mainly because it's not necessarily the product that is scalable. It's usually the angle or the offer, or both, usually. Like it's the marketing, the way you structure it, the customers. Like, so essentially, instead of a winning product, think of it like you have a winning market or you have a winning angle. Like you have people that need something. And maybe we'll get more into that, like product slash market research in a bit. But I have a really
Yeah.
good example actually that I'll share with you guys. Like, and I think I made like a YouTube part video partially about this, but basically my last winner was a product that helped women remove their facial hair that was caused by PCOS. So for those of you who are not familiar, PCOS is like a condition that women get, and like there's some symptoms like it makes them grow facial hair or get acne or some other things as well. And so basically I had that angle, which was women with PCOS, and that was like my market, and so that was essentially like a winning market, and it's definitely still a winning market. So anybody who wants to rip that and try selling a product to that market, definitely go for it. But the example, like you were saying, is that we scale winning angles or winning markets rather than just products. And so after that product crash from like bad product quality, I did a lot of research on actual products that would help with that condition, and found this like tea that was super good quality. People were saying, it really worked. So I started selling that, and I was profitable on it before my ads started getting taken down. But yeah, it's like you said, just you're scaling the angles, you're scaling the offers, you're scaling the market rather than necessarily just the product.
Yeah. And also that's a very good market. Like the market you chose is like I've noticed that it solves a specific problem. Like your marketing and your angles were pretty niche down, but
Hmm.
then you can also like expand to a bigger TAM. And that's why like that's a crazy market. And I don't know if you're still running it, but
No,
it is a
I'm
good it's a good
I'm not
market.
running that one right now. My ads got disapproved
No.
because I started running an angle that was kind of claiming to help women get pregnant, like women that were infertile helped them get pregnant. Yeah. So Meta didn't like that, but still, like I said, it's those angles, it's those really like those angles that really hit deep that get people super impulsive to go and buy something. When you really speak to somebody's insecurities or speak to, well, yeah, their insecurities, those conditions that they have, those are really the angles that are going to get somebody up and off their chair to go and buy something.
Yeah, 100%. So I also saw you were in like Samir's program, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
I saw a video which was it was a really really saucy video, and he did mention one thing that not that you were doing wrong, but one thing that you can
Yeah.
work on was outsourcing quicker, which
Right.
I've like it stuck with me.
Hmm.
So um after scaling to like bigger numbers, like when do you kind of have the mind of like, okay, let me start outsourcing like roles, like maybe like video editing, like product
Right.
research or any aspect of the business. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so the crazy thing about ecom is that everything happens so fast. Like one day you're hitting like $500 in sales, and then a week later, if you're doing things right, you're hitting like 10K, 15K a day. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
nothing's ever going to be perfect, but like really, I think it just comes down to uh, almost whatever you feel like you can't handle anymore is it's time to like pass it off. Now, one thing I'll say is that the first things that I passed off when I started scaling was customer service and video editing, but not video editing in like a talent type of way, meaning not creative strategist type of way, just someone to edit variations of the video, because you have to remember that these people most likely don't understand the customer and don't understand the product or angle as good as you do. So that's like a more expensive position that you should hold off on. But customer service and like
Mhm.
editing for variations, that can happen pretty quickly. You can usually outsource that pretty cheap um, through like various different websites or hire
Yeah.
just somebody something like that.
Actually, that's actually very. I didn't know that, like, to outsource specifically editing for variation, but you're so right because it
Hmm.
is like, I wouldn't say menial task. It's necessary, but it's
Hmm.
could be given to someone else very easily. That's
Yeah.
actually very smart.
When you're hiring, you kind of want to,
Never.
what I've learned is that when you're hiring, you want to separate things by like delegation versus talent. So you want to think about what do I want to delegate and like what do I just want to give someone to do that's, maybe a bit repetitive but should be easy enough for them to do, kind of outsource it cheaply versus what do I want to hire somebody that really knows what they're doing and pay up a bit more for, which is usually going to be more on the side of creative strategy, content, outsourcing and things like that.
Yeah, that's actually right. Yeah, that's actually a very, very good way to think about it. I'm definitely gonna look at that. Like, I already knew like VA for like emails and customer support was one thing, but to
Hmm.
look at even like video editing, separating like the creative side and
Hmm.
the like the menial task side, that's actually very smart.
100%.
Um, Going back to when you first start off, because again, I think this is the hardest part, obviously, is like finding a product or a market.
Hmm.
When you're testing something, kind of what's your criteria of when, okay, like it's time to cut? Like when do you look at profitability?
Hmm.
When do you like, is there any specific metrics that you look at?
Yeah, so I'm a little more lenient with my tests, I think, maybe than some other people are. Like, I really like to see sales on the first day or two. Like, if I'm not making sales on the first day or two, I'm probably gonna cut it. But if I'm making sales and I, think that there's ways that I can improve on this, and like the deeper you get into ecom, the more you realize with every test, like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, this, and this, try these angles, try these videos, try these offers. So the deeper you get, the more you kind of see like many different ways that you can test inside of a product to try and make it work. But I really like to
Mm-hmm.
see sales on the first day or two. If I'm not making sales on the first day or two, I usually cut it just because um, it's just not worth it. You want to have some money coming in to continue testing a product, some sort of revenue, I guess, that you're generating to just keep you in the game. Like I think especially Samir. So Samir, the stop loss that he would normally recommend was if you lose $150, you cut the product and move to the next one. And personally, I think that's a little more cutthroat than what I normally do. But I think he
Yeah.
says that because it's a really good place for beginners to cut products and move to the next ones. Like you test everything you can within that $150, and if it's not, if you lose that amount, then you just cut it and move on to the next product. So I do think that's a really good way for beginners to go about it, just to make sure that you're sticking to your budget and make sure that you only give things that have the highest potential more time or more effort. But like I said, as you get deeper into the game, you kind of start to realize like there's a lot of different things you can test within a product before you move on from it.
Yeah, like, because that's something I kind of went through. I had like a guy that reached out to me like, in real life. Like he's done really well in ecom. Like he's scaled and exited like $1 million brands, and he was someone that like just met me on YouTube and
Hmm.
like helped me out and guided me. but he was more advanced, like way more advanced than me.
Hmm.
And he was kind of imprinting in my mind that any product works, you have to make it work. So like he was okay of spending like thousands of dollars to test a product. And which like I agree, it is that's how it usually works, but the people that give that type of advice don't understand, or not that they don't understand, but they're not putting themselves in the beginner's mindset
Right.
where, yeah, first we don't even have that money. I think that's like a lot of people have that in total in their bank account. And two, it's just like the way I see it is, yes, any product you can make it work. It's just that it takes a lot of skills and you need
Hmm.
to be very experienced in marketing as a whole to make something work, where there are gaps or there are products that will work off the bat. And it's
Hmm.
just like I always now strive for that because we need that capital to help scale.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
absolutely.
agree. The $150 is like max. Like
Hmm.
I agree.
And I think it's
Look
okay,
look
like
at it.
when you're a beginner, I think it's okay to acknowledge that you might not have as many skills as someone who's been in the game for like years. So, just if once you acknowledge that and you accept it, like, and obviously you know that you're going to gain those skills over time, but for now you wouldn't want to be spending thousands of dollars on a product test because it's just not going to go in your favor. It would go in your favor as a beginner more to just keep rolling the dice, um, time after time until you finally hit that first winner. And I think that's, maybe the reason why a lot of courses are almost taught like that, is just because that is the easiest way, I would say. I mean, that's how I found my first winner, just rolling the dice over and over again until,
Yeah.
until it happened. And then, you gain those skills over time. So it's okay to, keep rolling the dice like that, and, not trying to say like get lucky, but just play to your strengths in that situation. And then once you
Yeah,
gain those skills, start playing to your skills
basically.
in that way as well.
Yeah, because that's the way I see it. Like even for me personally, like, I always see myself starting a bigger brand later on down the line where maybe I have like a long-term vision for it and it's like okay, I have the capital to put like, a lot of money up front without even getting sales to begin with.
Hmm.
But in specifically people that are just like like starting off or not starting off, but even like they're not the wealthiest. I strongly suggest to just like, yeah, do
Of
exactly what you
course.
said. Just kind of roll the dice and keep it rolling.
Hmm. And just try
Um,
and learn from every
someone did
test
ask,
as well.
yeah, bro, yeah, that was a huge thing. Again, that's like that's for me. So I could have been way better, but obviously I'm not gonna look in the past of what I could have done different. But I think anyone would be better off today if they were to go and look at all their failures and
Hmm.
improve every single time. There's so many
Absolutely.
times where a product failed for me and I just like, okay, next one. Not even a single thought to it. But it's like
And that's
you spent money, you spent time on it, and you failed. Use that
right.
to your advantage though.
Right. And that's the best way to feel like, if you don't go back, if you don't learn from each test, then you're almost gonna feel like, not even just feel like, essentially you're just wasting money in a way. Like, but if you look back and learn from each and every test, that $150 that you lost, the lessons you learned are probably even more valuable than that $150. So yeah, like you said, always good to try and learn from every single test. Write it down. Just, I mean, that's really where winners are made, I would say. Like the people who take the time to look back at each and every test and just absorb that knowledge and learn from it, like those people are going to learn and improve way quicker than people that just waste their money and never, I mean, never improve essentially.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was Alex Ramosi that explained it best. And he was even him, the way he explained things are like very, very intriguing. But I remember he was defining like intelligence and like what makes someone more intelligent than someone else, like smarter. And he was saying you can give someone the same test, let's say, and this person failed 3 times and then got it on the fourth, but
Hmm.
this person failed 10 times and got it on the 11th. This person is smarter because it took him quicker to fix his mistakes and then pass the test,
Hmm.
where this took him more. So he dictates intelligence of how fast you can learn and how fast you can improve. So basically, that's literally the name of the game of just life in general. It's not even just e-commerce.
Hmm.
And yeah, a lot of people like it goes over their heads where
No,
you should
100%.
take in consideration. A question I want to ask. So there's periods where you're like in a rut, kind
Hmm.
of sometimes the way I see it. And like when you have no, let's say no products lined up and you have no list and you just like, okay, I'm sitting down, let me just start product research. Kind of like what's your mind like what's your mind at when you're doing that? Like you just like, okay, I have no direction right now. I'm just sitting down. I just gotta scroll or search up and do product research. Like what are you looking for basically?
When I'm in a rut or just in general?
Like when you're in a rut and you just again sit down to just do product research, like are there certain like criteria that you're looking for, like trying to aim at?
So I try to, and I hope I'm gonna answer your question properly. But
Yeah.
like, if I'm in a rut, I try not to get in my own head about it. First of all, like the worst thing you can do is start losing confidence in yourself. Like you're thinking, oh, I haven't hit a winner in a while. Maybe you haven't hit your first winner yet. You almost have to have a little bit of that like delusional confidence just going into each test. And like for that reason, I'm going to lead this into like I try and make sure that each test and like I'm very strict about it now when I product test. Like I try not to test products unless I am super confident. And like you can be super confident about something and it won't work out like most of the time, but I try not to go into something unless I'm super confident about it. And normally, the way I become confident about it is just doing the proper research beforehand. Like, let's say you're researching products and you find a product and you're like, okay, like this could be good, but do you want to just like find a product and then right away throw it up and just see what happens? Maybe you want to do a little bit of extra research, look at some Amazon reviews, look at some Reddit forums, look at some videos that are available out there, and just really like convince yourself like, okay, I think this is a great product, great market, and I think it could really pop off and change somebody's life. So I would say the main thing there is just making sure you're setting yourself up in a way where you can be confident for every single test. And normally that's just by doing proper research to help yourself gain that confidence, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually very well said. Because I feel like when I was just doing product research a few months ago, sometimes I would just count, like, see myself just looking at the product and not even
Hmm.
considering about the market, not even considering about the audience, just, oh, product got views, let me run it.
Hmm.
But now having more of the market in my head and also going to do more research, um, basically the way I've explained it to some people in my Discord is like you gotta just keep stacking up proven concepts before you run it, and
Hmm.
the more you stack, the more you're more confident.
Hmm.
And so because I understand like you can get a product up in like a day or two, but still like you still have to take the time to build a website, create ads, spend money on it.
Hmm.
If you were to just do that extra research for like an hour or two on this product, you would have probably realized it's not worth a test, and then you
Right.
could have saved yourself a lot of time and money. So, um,
100%. And
yeah, I've had more the market in my head a lot recently when looking for products. Like, is this market a good market? Do these people need this problem solved, and et cetera,
mhm.
et cetera.
For sure. And like honestly, just to stack onto that confidence aspect, like you should I mean not you shouldn't go into thinking like this, but there's always a chance that you throw up your first batch of ads and it just completely flops. Like you did all this research, you're super confident, you throw up your first batch of ads and it just flops. And so like I th- but that doesn't always mean that the product can't work. Like I think for one of the recent products I tested, it flopped on day one, but then test a new batch of ads on day two, and all of a sudden things start looking better. Maybe I tested a different angle or something like that. And because you did the extra research to find out that there's different ways to sell it, to find out, there's different ways to structure the ads, then, even if day one flops, you still have extra ideas for going into like day two and day three that you can still try and capitalize on instead of just, wasting that money, scrapping it, and moving on right away.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Now, going back to maybe your ads, like your
Hmm.
ads systems and on your ads manager, what would be your setup for testing
Hmm.
and kind of even scaling? Like, do you have any kind of like like set systems?
Hmm. Yeah, so I like to start with one batch. I just keep it simple. I start with one batch in a CBO, one batch of 5 ads in a CBO. I normally just keep it completely broad. Maybe I target women only if I'm selling like a women only type of product.
Yeah.
And like that's just what I'll run on day one. Normally, the first batch of ads will be consistent with like one specific angle. So let's say like for example, the tea that I was selling for PCOS, one specific angle was that the product could help women get pregnant. So one batch of ads, all 5 were about that angle. And the reason I like to do that is because if you test 5 videos and all of them have a different angle, it's very unlikely that you're going to find like the perfect video for the perfect angle to pop off. So it's better to test like 5 different videos within one angle just to give yourself a better chance of, finding the creative that's going to work if that angle is going to be profitable. Um, so
Yeah.
normally, like first day, I'll test one angle. Second, like if it performs really well, then maybe I'll just stick to it. But normally, I'll test like 2 or 3 angles. Like I'll test day one is angle one with 5 ads. Day two is angle two with 5 ads, and day three could be like um, angle three with 5 ads. And that's also kind of how Samir taught it as well. So I kind of picked that up from him and started testing that way because, like we've already talked about, you're not just testing the product, you're testing the angles, you're testing the different types of videos, you're testing different customer avatars or markets. And so you have to make sure that you're aware of that and making sure that you're structuring your tests in a way where you're not just throwing up random videos and hoping that they pop off. Like you want to make sure that it's very structured in that way. And then, usually after the first couple days, I'll have a better idea of what angle might work better, what type of video might work better. And at that point, I'll kind of start putting things together, like we talked about that video structure or doing extra research within a certain angle to kind of guide me in the direction that I'll take the product in. Um,
Yeah.
and that's
And the
testing.
budget, I'm assuming, is 50.
Yeah, yeah, just 50. Yeah, I test with a relatively low budget, honestly. And I'll usually like spend the full 50 on the first day. I don't even look at the metrics too much. I'll just kind of look for sales. If no sales, I'll turn it off. If it has a sale or two, I'll usually leave it running the second day while I also run the second batch of creatives. And if it's not profitable by $75 spend, I normally just turn it off and let the
Yeah.
new batch of creatives run. Just so that like I'm testing enough things, but also trying to be budget friendly at the same time.
100%. And I for scaling, because I think I follow Samir's thing as well because Alex and Dean, they kind of helped me out as well with the like
Hmm.
managing the ads. And I don't know if you do it as well, but when I was scaling, every basically it was a very simple strategy, I guess. It was every time you launch like post anything, it's just a new CBO.
Hmm.
Like it ends up being a mess,
Yeah.
but like it could be a variation of the winning ads, it could be a new test, it could be a new angle, whatever. Every time something's being posted, it's a new
Yep.
CBO
Yep.
around 3 to 4 creators.
100%. If
You
you
do the
want
same?
to, yeah, yeah. If you want to test a like new angle, new CBO, new offer, split test it in a new CBO and things like that, just to keep it organized. Normally, when I'm scaling, what I will start to do, this is um, like maybe where my scaling strategy is a little bit different, but I like to keep it as simple as possible. So let's say I have like 3 to 5 ads that are performing really well. I normally like to just put them all in the same campaign, like one CBO, and just either like start bumping that budget like crazy or just make like duplicates. Like maybe I'll have it at like $100 with 3 ads in it, and then it's performing really well. I'll make a duplicate at like $500 and just like kind of scale that way, either with like multiple campaigns with the
Yeah.
same ad stack or just bumping that budget like crazy. It really doesn't matter too much when you start scaling. The more important thing is that you found the right conditions to be able to scale with, meaning your ads, your offer, your margins, and things like that.
And do you treat let's say a product is more expensive. do you treat it any differently? Like when you're running like a $50 CPO, are you like leaving it a bit longer because you know that the cost to acquire a customer might be a bit more expensive?
Um, so I guess it just depends. Like, to be completely honest, I don't normally sell products that are usually on the more expensive side. Like, I'm usually selling consumables that are between like $5 and $10 to source. So honestly, I don't like do that too often. But like if you were selling something that was like double the price, like $75 to $100, then you would probably want to run it a little bit longer to see if you make sales. But um, normally, like if you have a really good offer, or if you like structure your ads and offer the right way, you'll know pretty quickly if it's going to be a winner or not.
Yeah, the again, something that I realized on my last winter was the offer that I had kind of catered to everybody. I offered people that didn't want to spend a lot the $30 product. But
Hmm.
then I also offered like a big bundle that was 100 plus. So it gives both the chance of having someone who doesn't want to spend that X amount of money or the people that do want to spend and like I'd get an order of 100, $200.
Hmm.
So like I feel like having that range or having both in your offer
Hmm.
um could just help, especially with your AOV.
Of course. And honestly, something
Um,
I also like to do
yeah.
is to not offer free shipping on the first bundle. I don't think it's something that tons of people do, but honestly, it's something that I got from Anthony. Like when I very first started ecom, he said that he generally charges like $5 on the first bundle or whatever. Usually it's just one product, but maybe
Yeah.
it could be a buy one get one free. So I normally offer like charge
Mhm.
shipping on that one too, just to incentivize people to purchase more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. I the way I had my offer structured was the last offer that was 100 plus, let's say, is the most attractive.
Hmm.
Like I would have buy one, buy two, nothing special. Shipping is you still have to pay for shipping. It's only like 30-40% off. Nothing special. And then it's the last offer, like buy three, get one free, free shipping, plus a free get like
Hmm.
holiday
Yeah.
sale bundle. Like it just when someone goes on my website and they see the options, yeah, they could buy one if they want to, but just from like the first look, the last one seems like the
Hmm.
most packed value, so they're
That's
tending
like
towards it as
that's
well.
also a really good thing to bring up here is that what a lot of people don't understand is that when you structure an offer like that and you're really pushing like a higher AOV, you're actually like in a roundabout way helping your ads perform better as well because like you have more money to spend per customer.
Yeah.
So like you're going to be outbidding your competitors at that point. Like you have more money to spend on a customer than they do. So having an offer like that that's really pushing a high AOV, high margin is actually something, like I said, in a roundabout way that's going to help your ads perform better because you can spend more money than your competitors, which is like another thing we can get into if you want to. But that's like massive, especially like in competitive markets like the US, just having an offer that you're getting those high margin and high AOV offers so that you can spend more than your competitors to acquire customers.
Uh, yeah, I learned that with my last test. I had like when I first started running my product, I would get maybe the cost to acquire a customer was under $10. It was really cheap. Everything was working perfectly fine.
Hmm.
But then when let's say I got a new ad account because the last one got banned, I was getting like a cost to acquire a customer around $30.
Hmm.
I was still crazy profitable because of that offer we were saying how people are spending more. But if I didn't have that offer where people are spending more money, my original offer was a $30 product. I'd
Hmm.
be losing money. So to be able to have that offer and to make more profits and to have a higher AOV, I realize it's like a huge play for me to scale and yeah, to beat
Hmm.
competitors, which
Yeah.
yeah, I do want to get into because I'm not I'm not very experienced competing with other competitors because my market that I'm in is like there's not many,
Hmm.
and the products that like the last winner was basically I was one of the first ones, so it wasn't very competitive at all. But like, what would you do in a situation where like a product you're scaling, there's other competitors that are even doing better than you? Like,
Hmm.
how do you kind of? like
Yeah,
that offer?
so this is definitely, I'm glad we're bringing this up because this is actually massive for scaling. I think a lot of people, yeah, maybe like don't even think about it because it's just never been brought up, like optimizing your average order value and also your conversion rate, but we'll talk about average order value. So, yeah, the first thing is like you kind of want to think of it in stages. Like somebody lands on your website and they're looking at your main offer, right? It's normally like the kitchen bundles. You either have buy one, buy one, buy two, buy three, or you have your buy one get one free offers like that. And usually, what I like to use that offer for is just to find something like that is like that converts really well. So, for example, I like to use offers like buy one get one free, maybe free gifts, stuff like that, just to get people to like add to cart and just be ready to purchase. And then what I really like to do inside the cart, so I use Upcart, which is like a cart upsell app. You can use others
Yeah.
like upsells in there, but I always like to offer like one or two complimentary products in the cart that somebody would really get value from. And that like always helps me increase my average order value a lot. I think during the summer I was selling like a dress and I offered like shapewear for a discount in the cart. And so
Yeah.
that would add on like another $15 to $25 per like every few orders. So that really helped out. Then you have your like shipping protections, your priority processings, or anything else you want to put in the cart, which also at the same time is like incentivizing them to spend more because it tells them at the top where they get free shipping at. So normally like that helps out with the AOV as well, just in the cart. And then I always run like what I run is Kitching Upsells, which is a post purchase upsell app. And then I'll normally just sell the same product, like my original product, for a discount uh, after they purchase the product. So those are like two big areas where I use to really like increase my AOV on the back end, as well as like finding an offer that converts really well, trying to either do like buy one get one free or a free gift to be able to increase my price a little bit more than the competitor, and then also have those upsells in the cart and post purchase to stack it on even more.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, exactly. I like, do you, because I want to ask, do you organize this when testing a product, or is it more when you start scaling and then you start implementing all of this?
So historically speaking, I would always do it after I started scaling. But recently, honestly, I started doing it during the testing phase just because, like I said, I've been doing more research every test. And so I kind of can understand what other products might complement that one, what the customer might actually need. And I'll be able to kind of put that in the cart. And like, I've noticed that with Meta, it's really important to have those high AOVs right off the break when you're testing because normally you start off with high CPMs, and probably we're all aware of that. Like your CPMs go down
Yeah.
over the course of like a week or so. And so what I've really found
Hmm.
important is to start off with all those upsells enabled so that you can kind of offset those high CPMs off the jump and be able to like keep yourself in the game long enough to start scaling.
Yeah. No, I've been doing the exact same. Because I 100% realized that you can, especially on the first day, you can get one sale.
Hmm.
And if you don't have that high OV, it could have been $30 and you could have spent 50, you're unprofitable, or that one sale could have been 150 and
Hmm.
now you're all of a sudden profitable. So
100%.
to construct your best offer from the jump was something I've been implementing. And maybe
Hmm.
not everything, but at least like uh I would do upsell on the add to cart,
Yeah.
like shipping protection or package protection and the product,
Hmm.
and and after sell for sure.
Yeah.
Then
And
like there's cross sells, there's a lot of other things, but those are like the main things like I have to have before even a test.
Kaching Upsell is actually really cheap, and they have like free trials, and they also have plans for like based on however many orders you're doing. So I think you can get like a plan for like $8 on Kaching Upsell just to start, just to be testing with, and like it'll definitely
Mhm.
help you increase your average order value off the jump.
And for email marketing,
Hmm.
do you implement that? Like when do you start implementing that?
What I've come to learn after like many products I've scaled, I've come to learn that email marketing actually does not matter until you're like really scaling up. And like
Yeah.
especially getting an agency. So there's so usually what I'll do is there's people on Fiverr that you can hire for like $100 or $150 to set up some like general flows for you, and you know
Yeah.
you're like abandoned cart campaigns and your welcome series and things like that, just to like get something started. A lot of my revenue from like back end marketing actually comes from SMS marketing, at least like in the very beginning. I think SMS, I think it's called like text card. I forget what the app is called, but that's a
Yeah.
really good one to set up. It's pretty cheap. Email marketing, like I said, I like to keep that extremely cheap in the beginning until I'm like really scaling up, because that stuff can add up super quick if you're not careful with it. The Klaviyo plans are pretty expensive. Getting all that set up, especially if you want to do it with an agency, is pretty expensive. And I've just found it to be an expense in early stages of a business that's not really necessary, because like your goal anyways is to, like we were talking about, have those high AOV offers, have those really strong angles, and be able to be profitable every single day on your ad spend, regardless of if you have back end marketing coming in. So and another
Yeah.
thing I've found is that like if you have a shitty product, or like a product that has bad quality, and you're spamming emails to people saying like you'll come and buy, or like you know spamming people that have already purchased and they didn't like the product, like those emails, that can like become a disaster pretty quickly. So I like, this is coming from my experiences and just like you know my experiences with email marketing, either just the regular flows or the agencies. I would wait, especially to get an agency, until you like have validated that your product is good quality and that like your product is not going to die, because the worst thing that can happen is like you hire an email agency and then your product dies like 2 weeks later, and then it's just like messy for a while. So I would keep it super lean with email marketing. There's definitely ways you can, you know, get things pumping. Like I said, Fiverr is a great place to start. Just hire somebody for like $100 to set up some flows for you, and they'll look super nice. And just run those until you're like super confident that your product is, that maybe that you're gonna like brand out your product and keep it running. And then at that point, it might help to get like an email agency on board. But like that's a very slow play for me,
Yeah.
email marketing.
And so now going back, let's say to creatives, I think we didn't touch on that much. Um, like, what's your process with creatives? I'm assuming, like, do you still gray hat? Is it called gray hatting? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Or do
like
you like,
I'm completely
yeah,
fine with ripping creatives if the product, so like, and I want to make this like clear, if the product has a lot of content, and a lot of content that is like good to test. And what I mean by that is like, if you're going to be testing ripped creatives, you probably want to try and have like, you know, that fundamental understanding about a like what's necessary in a creative, or you know, 'cause obviously we all know like hooks and different structures of video and stuff like that. So you always want to
yeah,
make sure that it at least has like a good hook, or maybe a line of text at the top that talks about what the video is going to be about. Just something that resonates with the customer, maybe calls out the customer avatar in the hook, and you know a body of just somebody that's like talking about the product, maybe giving a testimonial, just giving some of that social proof, and really giving the customers all the information that they would need to, you know, feel comfortable purchasing the product, or just give them that sense of urgency, or I need this. So as long as like the videos that I find kind of fit that criteria, then I'm okay with running them. If not, then I would make some edits. But generally speaking, like if it's a TikTok shop product, which a lot of people have been testing recently, then there's usually a lot of content that's pretty decent to test on Meta.
yeah. No, that's actually something like you taught me. I remember you were saying how when you're looking to rip creatives, don't just look at the views, kind of look at the
Hmm.
actual ad itself to see if it's a good ad, because there are times where like yes, a video went viral and it may have more views than some other video, but maybe it was just like on organic and it just, went viral, but it wouldn't get you the sale itself.
Hmm.
So that was
Absolutely.
something that you taught me
The
to look at the structure, and it's just for you, like no have knowledge of
Mhm.
a good ad.
For sure. I mean, I would say that the most important thing is the hook. And Like what I've found honestly is that hooks don't have to be anything crazy. Like normally a good hook for me is somebody maybe using the product or showing the results of the product right away, and then a headline that kind of calls out the customer avatar, maybe says, "Hey, if you have the, X problem, or if you want to achieve X result, then buy this product or watch this video," something like that. And I mean, it just connects
Yeah.
with the resonates with the customers, the target audience, and kind of gets them excited to watch the rest of the video off the jump. And so, like I always say, I think it's three things that a hook needs to do. One is resonate with the customer, two is catch attention, and three is incentivize them to watch the rest of the video. And usually you can do that with like a headline at the top showing like some results or something in the beginning, or somebody reacting using the product, and just tell them what the video is about in the headline.
Yeah, that's actually three good points. And your creative itself, like I tend not to make my videos too long. Like
Mm-hmm.
I actually try to stay within like 30-second frame because I feel like it just becomes repetitive or like basically the way I see it is someone's going to buy a product for one reason. Or there may be little things here and there like quality or you can add like testimonials
Mm-hmm.
for proof that the product's good. But usually like even me when I go buy something, I'm buying it for one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a video that's too long, it may just become like too repetitive or too like boring for them and they just move away. Where if you kept the video at 10 to 20 seconds, but focused on the one main reason why people would buy, it would just make the less friction and makes the whole process just quicker.
I think it just comes down to the customers. I think it comes down to the audience, honestly. Like, because I'll tell you what's really funny is that my last winning product, so the hair removal cream for women with PCOS, my winning videos after like, a month or so of scaling that product ended up being like 2 to 2.5 minutes long. And that's because like
Oh,
it just
dang,
depends on what kind of
dang.
information your customers want. And
I
like
get it. Yeah.
once you start doing the research and find out like what your customers are like wanting, and kind of starting to understand them better, you can like know exactly what to put in the video. So like for example, I think in the beginning of those videos I was like showing the pain point of like women having hair on their face, and the headline was saying something like, how can I get rid of my facial hair because of PCOS or something like that. And so right away, like they it resonated with them. It caught their attention because obviously there's a woman like with hair on her face. Like nothing wrong with that. It's just a condition, but like it caught their attention.
Yeah.
And in the headline, I specifically said like, in this video, you are gonna find out how to remove this facial hair, basically. And then I would talk about like
Yeah.
their insecurity, um, the alternatives that they tried that didn't work, the feeling that they would get after they used the product, and then it like cut to this like long testimonial or like how to use of somebody actually using it and showing how it works. And like I like stuck to that because in the comments again, like this just comes down to research. And like maybe in the very beginning you might not have videos this long, or um, but like in the comments people would always say like, does it actually work, does it actually work? So I made sure that I put a video of somebody using it and showing that it worked afterwards, just to like make sure that all my bases were covered. But that's, I kind of rambled on there, but it just comes down to the
Yeah.
research you do, the customer avatar, and what information they
No, yeah,
need
you're
to
right.
purchase.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Because now I just thought about it. There are like advertorials, so there's videos that like 10 minutes long that
Yeah,
perform very, very well. I was just because there's something that I've learned. Do you know the book Breakthrough Advertising?
yeah, I haven't really read it though, to be
Yeah,
honestly that well, but I have it.
you should. I honestly, you should. It's like if anyone were to start any business and you needed one book, it'd just be that, and just have it like memorized.
Okay.
It's a really, really great book. I got it recommended by again my the guy that I mentioned that helped me out in real life. And one thing that it mentioned was like being very precise on everything. Not precise, but maybe like every word,
Hmm.
every visual, every sound, whatever is intentional.
Right.
So the way I just saw it personally was if you have a like a 10-minute long video,
Right.
I'm not saying it's not gonna work. It's just that you're gonna have to put intention
One
in 10 minutes
yes.
instead of 30 seconds. Yeah,
100%.
so
Like, yeah, in those videos, like, they have somebody talking, giving all this information. And maybe it's more something like, usually those are like things on the medical side. And obviously, in those types of videos, it probably feels more like a consultation than it does like a quick like ad like that. And it's
yeah,
because the customers are looking for all that information to be able to make sure that it's the right solution for them.
yeah, 100% right. But that's why I just thought it's more. I find it more difficult to run something longer. But of course, some products like you,
Hmm.
especially like medical reasons, like you have to. There needs to be more information, kind of like a trip to the doctor. Like
Hmm.
these people treat it like that sometimes.
100%.
Last question that we have. A lot of people are asking, do you ever run anything to like the EU market? Do you kind of ever test or change to other markets, or you're just
No, I
strictly
don't.
US?
I do strictly USA just because, well, two reasons. One, because like I think that market is the most scalable and has the most potential to build the type of brand that I want to build. And two, because I don't like to mix up too many variables when I'm testing. So I've had success there before, and I'm fully sure that the success that I would like to have in the future is like I'm capable of having that in the US. So I just stick to the US and just call it there.
So you said that you had success there before. Like, do you have any tips for that? Because it is
Mhm.
different. So
Yeah. So the one thing have they're spamming. Have I considered running EU? So the one thing that I like about US over other um countries is that people in the US, I'm sure we all know, they just buy more. Like they are very much more, I don't know if
yeah,
capable is the word, or they're just
it
more willing to.
consumerism
Yeah,
society
yeah, yeah. They're
basically.
more consumers, and so you can kind of rest assured that if you're going to sell in the US, you have a better chance of making sales. And I mean, that's what we all want to do, right? Is make sales. So you can kind of rest assured knowing, like, okay, if my marketing is right, if my offer is right, then I'm going to make sales, and I'm not going to be like, not making sales because of the country I'm selling in. So
Yeah.
the tip is to focus on marketing and focus on offers, and the sales will come.
Okay. And the like you said, your last success with the EU, was this something kind of like it was working in the US and you just moved it to like an EU
Uh,
market,
oh
or
no, I didn't
did you
sell in the EU
specifically
at all.
test that?
Like I've never sold in the EU.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
Okay, okay, sorry.
Oh no,
Okay,
you're good.
then yeah, I think that's it. Do you guys have any other questions? I pretty
We can
good.
answer some questions in the
I
chat.
think we
Yeah,
went
yeah.
over everything, to be honest. Like we went over every aspect of the business.
We'll see if there's a few questions, and we'll give a few more minutes.
Are, are you guys
But
dealing with
yeah,
taxes?
taxes.
What?
You
Pay
just
them.
keep your profits, and show it to an accountant, and they'll help you out. Let your
Where
accountant
do
do
you
that type of
source?
hard work.
I think this
Consumables.
when there's too
So
much
by
competition.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry, I said the word consumables earlier, and I think you guys might have misunderstood. So, not necessarily supplements. Basically, what I mean by a consumable is something that someone uses and it runs out. So, that can be like serums, creams, anything like that. Um, I've tested supplements, but that's not necessarily what I mean by a consumable. But you can source those on CJ dropshipping as well.
Yeah. When is too much competition for a product on Meta if they're scaling to the moon? I'll let you answer that one.
So honestly, like I don't really worry too much about competition. I just worry about doing my research and testing in like the best way possible, like we've talked about. So honestly, I would recommend that if you're testing, you don't think too much about competition. You just think about what you can control. And like if somebody is scaling though, that's good news for you. That means the product is selling. You just have to find a way to fit yourself into that market.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yes, sir.
How to avoid getting suspended on PayPal or Stripe.
Um, I don't know. I've been suspended on PayPal, so I probably can't give good advice on that. But like,
Oh yeah.
try and uh, try and make sure that your tracking is all updated and that you're handling the disputes very quickly. That's how I avoided getting banned on PayPal for a long time. Is just like having an app that automatically synced my tracking numbers to PayPal, and also I would make sure that I was even being like a little bit lenient with the disputes on PayPal. Like sometimes I would just give people a refund to avoid things escalating and just getting on PayPal's bad side.
We do want you have someone Jace that wants to come up on the stage. Maybe he has a
Sure.
question.
Yo, how's it going?
What's good? What's good? Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you guys. I had a few questions. Um, so you know how you said like you would like tackle deep desires in
Mm-hmm.
your ads?
Yep.
I'm assuming that a lot of times I Meta wouldn't like that and would just disable your account. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with like meta bans and stuff when
Yeah.
tackling those desires?
So there are some, yeah, like you said, there are definitely some angles, some desires that are a little against meta policy. The angle, like I told you guys, of almost claiming or promising for women to get pregnant was like a little bit of a step over Meta's policies. But that doesn't go for like every single angle. There are plenty of angles out there that are still like deep insecurities or deep desires that won't get banned on Meta. And honestly, Meta seems to almost be a little more lenient than TikTok when it comes to those stronger angles or stronger marketing. Like I marketed my angle about facial hair and never had any issues. Like I never had one single ad rejected. So I would say the best way is to try it. If it gets rejected, try and dial it back a little bit. And if things are just getting rejected over and over again, then just probably move on to the next angle or product. It's not worth the risk. And that's kind of what I did with my angle about pregnancy. Like I started off with a super strong video. um, Basically the hook was like a woman like reacting to a positive pregnancy test, a woman that looked like she might be the type of customer avatar that would have the problem. And then the headline said something like, how can I, or like, here's how I got pregnant after years of PCOS infertility, something like that. And then it went into like a testimonial style video about somebody talking about their experience, and that ad ended up getting rejected. So like I tried to run a video without the hook on it just to see like if the testimonial would be okay. It still got rejected, so then I just moved on from the angle. But it's better to try and see if something can be like ran, because those are normally the angles, or like you said, the desires that are most profitable is those um, deeper insecurities or deeper like conditions or problems that people have. So best to just try. If it gets rejected, try and dial it back a bit and run it again. And if it keeps getting rejected, then just move on from it. Although I would definitely like try and stick to those angles or desires that are very strong, because those normally are the ones that sell the best. De
Gotcha.
Niro said I would have rejected that myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
All right.
Um, I guess that follows up to my next question. Like when you're tackling those deep desires, right? I was selling a
hmm
consumable myself,
okay.
and I was a winner. Um, but then, do you think about how brandable a product is before testing it? Because what I was selling was like I was thinking like, yeah, I could sell this, but it's not like brandable, um, so to speak.
Well, why did you think that it's not brandable?
Um, well, there was like a like couple there was a main brand that's already running it, or like
hmm
they have their own they have their own variant of that product, and they're like a very big brand already.
hmm
And I guess it just kind of looked like we were the dupe of that brand, right?
hmm
Um, so I didn't think like it was scalable to the point where we can be like the main brand or printing a lot of money with that brand. That's
I
kind
see.
of mine what I was
Um,
thinking.
yeah, I understand what you mean, but I think like honestly, the point of testing and like starting to scale a bit is not necessarily in the beginning about branding your product. It's more about getting product market fit or getting validation. And once you have that, you can start customizing your package, you can start getting custom content, and that's essentially like at that point I think you start differentiating yourself a little bit. Um, and I think that all comes with time. I think like the most important thing is just being able to sell, being able to scale, and some of those problems, like differentiating a little bit more from your competition, can be figured out over time. Like I'm sure when Bleem first started, they were the same hair shaver as everybody else, but as they scaled and as they like got their custom packaging and stuff like that, they went with like the specific purple color, which I think everybody kind of knows them by now. They got their like logo on the product and probably have a custom package as well. So you could always make like small changes to the product and the package when you scale and want to like brand it out.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So basically, you're saying when you do get a winner or like of some sort of validation, right, and you're
Hmm.
scaling right now, you can start thinking about actually trying to
Hmm.
bring different variants or differentiating yourself, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And normally I try and align that with like whatever angle or whatever, type of customer is purchasing the product. So maybe if it's like older women, you would make something that's more in line with that audience, something like that, just to kind of differentiate yourself a bit.
okay, yeah. And my last question is, I know one of the main, like when you're scaling, right, one of the main things you want to focus on is creative output.
Hmm.
Um, I guess I think you talked about this earlier, but I want to clarify, like when do you do all the creative in-house by yourself, and when do you start outsourcing, and when do you like really like what problems have you ran into scaling when pushing about out a bunch of creatives at once or every day, like 5 creatives a day, like for example?
Yeah. So normally what I've found is that when you want to test like 5 creatives a day, you can probably pump out yourself pretty easily. Normally takes like a couple hours, maybe if tops if you want to pump out 5 creatives, especially if they're like maybe variations, you can probably do it a little bit quicker. Once you want to start pumping out like 10, 15 creatives a day, which normally I would start doing when I'm hitting like 1 to 3K days, testing that amount of creatives, that's normally where I find myself like, not, I mean, not that like you couldn't do it if you really wanted to, but that's very um, like what's the word? Repetitive, or like you just want to start focusing on other stuff in the business once you start scaling up to that point. So once you want to start testing like 10 to 15 or 20 videos per day, then I would start like getting somebody hired. But that's usually around 1 to 3K per day. So until then, you're probably good to just edit like 5 a day by yourself or something like that. But again, it's kind of relative to like how you're feeling in the business, where you feel like your time and effort needs to go to. Um, and there's obviously other factors, but that's just like a rule of thumb.
Fire, bro. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for
Jason.
coming up, brother.
Pleasure. Yeah. Okay, we got one more question. Someone wants to come up, and we can end it there. Here you go.
Hello, thank you for having
Hello.
me. Just a quick question. So we have a website. It's in the gym niche,
Mm-hmm.
and decent conversion rates. So about 3.5, 4%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of scared of testing it properly. So I've read about these things that you can forward a percentage of the traffic. Suppose 25% of the traffic you forward to a new landing page.
Mm-hmm.
How would you go about like properly testing a website,
Uh-huh. So like
not
split
to fuck up
split
what's already.
testing the offer, like a different offer or a different, completely different website.
Well, let's say I want to change, like, put the reviews a bit, like, not as the first block, but as the second block, for instance, right? And I
Uh-huh.
want to see if that increases conversion rate. And I wouldn't want to mess with the existing setup because it's working well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically what I would do is, so if in that case like you would need to make a different, I think it's a different template for your page. So I would duplicate the product and then put a new template on it. So you would have like template one, which is your main page, and then you duplicate the product. So you have your second product, which is the same exact product, just with a new template. And then on that template, you can change the layout. And then what I would do is make two campaigns of the same exact ads, whatever you're scaling with, and just send like $50 of traffic to the new page for like 2 3 days and see how it performs compared to the other one. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
So no software, just make a new basically product page with the changes that we want to test.
yeah. I normally don't use a software for it just because like it seems to be clear enough when you just make a new campaign and test it that way. You can read all the metrics on the like Facebook ads or whatever you're using, and it should be like pretty
Um,
clear. You should be able to see. Um, with that being
I
said, like,
want to add because I remember.
oh, go ahead.
Yes, sorry, because I want to add. Remember, Jason, you made actually a document talking about split testing
Hmm.
in Eclipse's thing, and you were saying that you used a metric where you kind of it was something about dividing it with impressions so you can see how much
Right.
profit per impression.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe that can help them.
Yeah, so like for your instance, changing the reviews, since you'd be running the same offer, then it wouldn't really matter too much. You would only want to look at conversion rate. But if you were testing like a new offer and let's say, COGS are a little bit different or, your price is a little bit different, then you would just want to make sure that like, you don't necessarily judge it on the conversion rate, but you actually judge it based on which one is more profitable, essentially. So you probably want to judge it more based on the profit margin rather than just the conversion rate, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And just last question, what specifically would you go about testing the website the same as you test a winning creative? So suppose like switch the body part slightly. Suppose like I just switch two sections with like the sequence of two sections, or can I just go crazy and have a completely new style and everything? Like how would you
Yeah.
proper test it?
So I would do a little bit of both, honestly. I would test like maybe one batch of variations, and then you do a little research and you find some new clips or you find some new angles or types of like information you can test in the video. Maybe you make another batch with like a brand new style or structure. I think that's honestly the way I would test it.
I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. I meant website specifically,
The website.
right? Yeah. Like, what would you
Oh,
test?
yeah, yeah. I
Would you
would.
try to test offers or maybe the whole design of the website also?
So I would test one thing at a time. Like you don't want to change too many variables when you're split testing. So if you're gonna change the offer, then I would do a new offer with the like page that you already know converts. But if you wanted to do like a new page, then I would keep the same offer, just so you're only changing like
Yeah.
one thing at a time. You don't want to like change too many things, and then you won't know what the winning variable was if something does end up working.
Yeah. Okay. So same as
Hmm.
creatives. Got it.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming up.
All right, all right. Definitely went on long. The
Felt
amount of
fast. Time goes fast when
value.
you're having fun.
Yes, sir. So, so basically, we're gonna end it. We're gonna start ending it. But I wanted to mention to everybody that obviously Jason has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna put the link in the um chat.
Thank you, brother.
Guys, basically the way I see it is I love people like Jason because it's like you have so much knowledge and experience, but not a lot of people know it. It's kind of like a hidden gem. And that's the way I see Jason's channel. And so definitely, definitely like subscribe if you really liked how he explained everything and how he sh- tells his experience. But to be honest, go sub it up because you just started, and I've watched a lot of your videos, and they're really good because you do better than me. You base like you even show your screen, you show like the ad account and how you test or scale or whatever. So,
Oh
so
well.
you're doing a better job than me.
No, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you having me on the call, and I mean, your content is a banger. I always like watching your videos as well, but I appreciate you having me on, letting me gas my YouTube channel a bit. I'm going to be working on more content in 2025. I know it's a little bare bones right now, but I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into it into the next year. So I promise if you take the time to sub and watch the videos that you'll get value from it. So yeah, again, Julian, I appreciate you having me on, and to everybody that's been in here for the whole time, I appreciate your guys' time as well. It's been a good time.
Yeah. Bro, honestly, it's been a pleasure for like me. Thank you very much. Again, you really helped me out on my own journeys, and to have you here was again, it's like a full circle moment for me. I was like super excited to have you here. And again, like the way I see it is the way the way you shared your knowledge, I paid thousands of dollars for it at the start, and now it's all on your channel for free. And like not like you're getting low views, like no one's getting like not like it's not like saturated where a lot of people are getting your sauce. That's why like you're the way I see it is a hidden gem. So
That's
it was a really pleasure to have you
It's the
here.
key to
And
success, brother. Give first and then ask
for
later.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Love it. Anyways, it's been a pleasure. Happy holidays, happy New Year's. And again, really thank you for hopping on.
Of course.
Really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
appreciate it.
It's a great time, and hopefully I'll see you guys again sometime. But all right, thanks again, brother, for having me on,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'll see everybody next time. All right, peace,
Have,
guys.
have a good one. Can we have some W's in the chat for Jason? Guys, come on.